Hey guys, this is Mickett. I'm just going to do a quick video on what to do with a Lavahound when it appears in the War CC. When you're attacking, I've seen this happen a lot more lately as people put Lavahounds in their CC. Really because of the advent of the poison spell has really changed things around quite a bit from what it was. It always used to be witches, wizards, other such things, once in a while a hog or other things in there. Those things are dealt with so quickly now with the poison spell and so efficiently with just a simple lure that people have really gone to other things, gone to a dragon with 1 or 2 loons, have gone to a Lavahound. And so we've seen this happen more and more. We're against a clan right now that had mostly Lavahounds in all their Town Hall 9s. Obviously it has to be a Town Hall 9 with 30 space to be able to have it happen, to be able to accommodate the space for it. But what they basically are hoping for with the Lavahound is something that the poison spell can't affect greatly. In other words, you can't just use a simple poison spell, which is what everybody will tend to bring with them on a first attack now, and you can't do it. And the other thing too is a bit of the freak out factor, the fact that all of a sudden a Lavahound comes out of there, especially people who aren't used to dealing with them. It can be really freaky, but you know what, as I've gotten used to them over time, I'd much rather see a Lavahound honestly come out of the CC than a dragon with a loon or two. Because it's so much easier to deal with. You'll see here in the example that I'm showing here is a Lavahound pops out here on a normal go wipe, and it's really not doing much damage, but it does a lot of distraction too. So if you don't deal with it efficiently, it can really mess up. See how the wizards are all skewed off there, and then the pups, which actually do some damage, can then be hitting your wizards and your witches, and sometimes your archer queen can even go down from that. So how do you deal with this? Well, there's a bunch of different ways. I'd say there's 4 main ways. One of them is you do deal with it on the fly, much like many people do here, and you will see that it does distract, but I find that unlike how CCs in the past could make or break an entire attack, a Lavahound really doesn't. I'll even show you hopefully an example of where it didn't go the way that the person wanted and they still just dealt with it. It's really not that hard to deal with. It can mess you up sometimes, but not nearly as much as some other troops. So let's take a look at another one. Okay, so the 4 ways you can deal with it. You can deal with it on the fly. You can do a normal lure and try and do a lure and kill of the CC, and that obviously takes time. The third thing you can do is just ignore it altogether, which is actually pretty helpful a lot of the times. And with certain types of attacks, it totally makes sense. I'll get back to that. And the fourth thing you can do is you can neutralize it. You can neutralize the attack, which is kind of actually in a certain sense like ignoring it, but and kind of like luring it too, but you're just luring it into a place that you can ignore it. So I'll show an example of that as well. But let's deal with dealing on the fly. Let's take a look at a few examples of that. First of all, we see here an attack where the person is going to go through, and this person's got pretty good walls here for a low Town Hall 9. However, we'll see. I'll speed it up a little bit here. The Lavahound is going to pop out of there, and because all the troops are focused right there, you've got all the witches, the wizards, everything. Drops a rage, drops a bunch of things there, maybe even drops a heal, and I think the poison spell is going to go down as well. Now, the poison spell does not do much to the Lavahound. We may see that in an example, but it does do a lot to the pups, because first thing, it slows down the damage they do, and they do a lot of damage, and they attack very quickly. It slows down that damage as well as the fact that they just don't have as many hit points, so it can really take them out quite efficiently. Let's take a look at another example here. This one is another deal with it on the fly. I'm just going to kind of speed through. All right, earthquake spells there. And then eventually this is going to penetrate in there far enough. Wall breakers break in the golems and all the other. Now, one of the things you should notice, it comes out here. One of the things you actually kind of hope the Lavahound does is it gets stuck on these troops that can't attack it, but it doesn't do much damage to, like the golems or the P.E.K.K.A.s, because then it just sits there. It actually becomes more of a problem if you've gone in there and have your wizards and your queen take it out soon. Now, this attack doesn't go quite what the way he wants because the wizards weren't there for a reason, because they didn't go up the middle. So, but taking a look at that right there, an example of it's doing very little damage to that Lavahound, and by the time it goes down, which it won't entirely from the poison spell, but by the time it goes down, the lava pups won't be affected at all. So you want to drop that one a little bit later. I'd save it till right about the time the lava pups are about to pop, and then you can drop it and they'll all converge right into it. Works out pretty handily. All right, let's take a look at another one, another go on the fly one. This is Vitalia on Dimitra. I think I got the right one here. This is Town Hall 10 attacking to Town Hall 9. Brings 3 golems, doesn't spread them, but brings them up the middle because there's not that many things to do. Now, see, that Lavahound is aggroed onto the, and then it burst there, but it aggroed onto the golems, was doing no damage. But once the pups come out, you got to deal with those pretty efficiently, or it will take out a lot of your damage. Unfortunately, as wizards decide to take the end run around there instead of going right up the middle for some reason, but that's how it goes. But let's take a look at maybe one more. Let's take a look at this one. Another do-it-on-the-fly sort of deal. Basically what you're doing is you're saying, look, I'm just going to push through and hope or help my troops to be able to deal with it. That CC is hard to draw, and so we're just not going to deal with it. And as the Lavahound comes out there, it comes all the way to the outside, and these witches, or excuse me, the wizards are just going to chase it right in there, eventually kill it, especially with the rage here. And then the lava pups, look how the lava pups converge on everything. Sorry, that was a fast forward there. And then, but what it's done is it's really decimated the core there, so it doesn't have much left to be able to attack with. And that's what, if you put a hound in there, that you're hoping happens, is that it distracts them long enough that while the golems and the P.E.K.K.A.s are taking a lot of the damage, that the wizards will be distracted and not taking down some of those buildings. Okay, the second one I mentioned was to do a normal lure and kill of the CC. And an example of this one would be number 6 here. Now this one, Kuda's attacks, he doesn't know that there's a Lavahound in there. So this is actually a really good attack if you don't know there's a Lavahound in there and you're just going to deal with it on the fly. Which is probably the case in a lot of the other ones too. I'll speed it up a little bit here. But he's going to bring in a hog to be able to do the draw. And he sees it's a Lavahound. So whether it was a Lavahound or not, I think his plan is to go up here and lure up to the corner. So that Lavahound comes up there. And then he drops a golem, which is exactly one of the best solutions to do. If you drop that golem, that Lavahound is going to go and it's going to sit right on top of that. Now you got to be careful of splash damage there. But in this case, it's really not a problem. And so he basically takes it out there, and then brings in everything for the kill. He has his wizards, his witches, and it's going to kill it. And I don't know if he uses his poison spell. Let's see if he does. No, he opts not to use it. He opts to hold on to that. But that would have been a really good place to drop that poison spell, because all those pups would now be gone, and then they wouldn't be shooting the pups. They'd be shooting at the defenses there. But this turns out to be a 3-star anyways. Goes on and deals with it very efficiently. Okay, let me show you an example of the third one, which is to basically just ignore it. Now, with certain types of attacks, this makes total sense. I'll give you a quick example here. Snow attacking on number 11 is coming in with an air attack. Does one simple draw, figures out that it's I don't know if this was a first attack or not, but if it was, that would explain that. But doesn't really have any troops to deal with it, so I'm assuming this was a second attack. Didn't know there was, or already knew there was a Lavahound in there. I'm not sure quite why we went with the draw, but anyways, brings in I think this is the Pentaloon, I didn't check first, but with lots of loons coming in there, and basically you can just see that Lavahound can do nothing, it has nothing to attack, because it was, originally when it first came out, it could attack air troops, but it cannot do that now. And so it can't attack anything until a late drop here, when the heroes go down after everything's been dealt with. I'm going to drop the heroes, and then it will finally aggro onto those. It'll head over towards the heroes. Let's see if we can find that here. When do the heroes go down? There they are. Okay, the heroes came down the corner, and then finally it flies into action, heads over into the corner there. Now, look at how you deal with this. Probably I would have held onto that poison spell and just waited till the pups come out here. But it does almost no damage to that Archer Queen. The Archer Queen is hitting it the whole time. The pups are hitting it, and then it's going to explode. And this would be a perfect time to put the right in the middle of the Lavahound there. You could be able to kill all those pups very quickly, and they go down. Now, as it turns out, they go down pretty easily anyways. So that's what I said. I'm not a real big fan of putting Lavahounds. This was a great attack, by the way. Go ahead and watch it for its own merits. But I'm going to move on. Similar sort of attack here, just to be able to give you a second example is Snow attacking on getting the draw down there, end up being the same thing. That Lavahound is not going to do anything. It's just going to sit there for the entire attack and do nothing until the heroes come in. So anyways, that's obviously a good option. Now I will say an additional one, which I don't have an example of right now, but I've done in the past, is, and I thought about doing it on one of these this time, is that if you can get the Lavahound to aggro onto if you're coming in with a hog attack, even though it'll attack the hogs, because you're healing the hogs so much, it will stay right on the hogs and it won't do enough damage. It'll just kind of follow them around the entire map. I prefer to get rid of it at the beginning to lure it and kill it, because then I can bring in a golem or I can bring in the hogs and then keep all my troops alive, but have dealt with it up front, because it can mess you up at the end, especially because the hogs will eventually trail it and lead it around to your queen again, and then the queen is going to start taking it down, and then you got all these pups on your hogs, and that they can do some more damage. But that is another case where you could just ignore the Lavahound altogether. The fourth one, which I have an example of, I have two examples of this. The first one doesn't work out, but I want to show this for a specific reason, because I'll show you that the Lavahound really doesn't do much damage. Actually, you know what, I'm going to go back. I'm going to show you how this is supposed to work here so that you get an idea. Let me do this real quick. Xanadu Bamboo attacking. Knows this is a cleanup attack, so knows there's a Lavahound in there already. And so what Xanadu Bamboo is going to be pulling in here is a healer, and actually two of those archers is going to basically nullify that entire Lavahound. Now you have to find, if you're going to do that one, you have to find a spot. There's spots over here, other spots. You have to find a spot that you can put those archers down, easy one up top, that the archers will not get hit by anything else except the Lavahound. In this case, decided to come up with two loons on top of that cannon right down here at the bottom, just to take it out and get the lure and take out a couple things at the same time. So let's watch this. The loons come in there, and because the loons aren't going to lure the clan castle, send in one hog there, but the balloons are distracting. The hog gets the lure, but all those will die. But watch this part. You got to put two archers. Now, I got to mention, you got to put down two archers, because a healer will not heal just one archer. For some reason, the way they wrote the AI, it doesn't work. So you've got to get two archers down there at least, and they have to be out of range of anything to hit them. This one had been attacked before, so we knew the Teslas were over here. So this was just a cleanup attack to try and get the third star. So watch this. This Lavahound is going to come over here. The healer is placed down, also not going to get hit. This Lavahound will come here, and it will just beat on these archers, and the healer will heal them. And the archers will start to hit the Lavahound pretty soon, but the two archers can't do much damage. Okay, then proceeding with the attack, just as if there is nothing. You'll see this does nothing down in the corner here. It'll just sit there the entire time. It's kind of a fun little trick. Now, this is a go-ho, so just trying to deal with getting the queen out of the way. But you'll see that Lavahound will not move from that spot until towards the end, when the queen is actually going to come down, and when the queen is doing cleanup, is going to come down that way and then start hitting that. But that's really not that big of a problem, especially depending where your queen starts. It happens way towards the end, and the queen can usually deal with it, especially if it's a level 12 queen. So anyways, that was kind of a fun tack as well. And I'm going to show you this last one because it's an example. I tried to do the same thing, but didn't get down two archers. And so the one archer, I just want to show this as an example in a certain sense, maybe what not to do, but gets the draw there, puts down one archer, and then puts down the healer. But you see, the healer does not engage just one archer. If there was a second archer there, it would have happened. So what happens is the healer doesn't engage it, kills that. Now, I just want to end up saying that even though that went horribly wrong, and then the healer dies in there, so we've lost all that extra space and so forth. It's going across, and it comes down here. It was still a 3-star. So that Lavahound is just really not an effective thing, in my opinion. That's why I don't usually ask for it. Now, I think it's kind of fun to sprinkle some in a few times here and there to be able to kind of not have people guessing as to what they might get. It's just not the most effective way to do it. It'd be like throwing 6 hogs in there. It really might mess them up. But on the second one, they'd really be able, the second attack, they'd be able to deal with it well. So anyways, there's just a few examples just to kind of hit them again. You can deal with that on the fly. You can do a lure and kill. of the CC, or using your your kill troops. You can also just ignore it altogether, depending on what kind of attack you're doing. The other thing you can do is you can neutralize it. That was a good example, by the way. This is finally aggroed onto the hogs, but the hogs are into heal, and this is doing nothing to those hogs. Now the rest of everything else is doing something to the hogs, but that once they're out of the heal, it does a little bit of damage, but not much at all. And it'll just sit there the whole time because the hogs obviously can't attack it. So it's actually a good thing to have it go on top of your hogs, or a golem or whatever. So anyways, hopefully this helps in some way. And make sure that you like and subscribe. Keep on clashing.